नमस्ते हमेशा खुश रहो बेटिया। आई एम JVN Dr. Meenakshi, Assistant Professor in Department of Shalakya Tantra, Faculty of Ayurvedic Science, Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. Today we will discuss the clinical types of blepharitis. So as we have discussed, blepharitis is an subacute or chronic inflammation of the lid margins. In the previous session, we discussed the seborrheic or squamous blepharitis and the second type, ulcerative blepharitis. Today in this session, we will discuss the next type of blepharitis, which is the posterior blepharitis or meibomitis. What is chronic meibomitis? It is a meibomian gland dysfunction seen more commonly in middle-aged persons with acne rosacea and seborrheic dermatitis. The patients suffering from the acne rosacea and the seborrheic dermatitis have a predisposition to the meibomian gland dysfunction, and it is characterized by the white frothy or foam-like secretion on the eyelid margins and canthi, meibomian seborrhea, and on eversion of the eyelids, vertical yellowish streaks shining through the conjunctiva are seen. At the lid margin, opening of the meibomian glands become prominent with thick secretions. This is a chronic infection of the meibomian gland. Here in this image, you will be able to see. You can see the openings of the meibomian gland, and they become the prominent, and very thick secretion is present over the lid margin. Then next type of meibomitis is the acute meibomitis, which occurs mostly due to the staphylococcal infection due to bacterial infection. Then we come to the treatment part. It is a treatment of meibomitis. It consists of the expression of the glands by repeated vertical lid massage followed by rubbing of antibiotic steroid ointment at the lid margin. So we should express the glands because there is meibomian gland dysfunction. The secretion formed by the meibomian gland, the lipids formed by the meibomian gland is not proper. So we have to express out the secretion by the vertical massage because these are the parallel vertical glands present in the tarsal plate. So after expressing out the secretion, we will rub it by the antibiotic steroid ointment. Then antibiotic eye drop should be instilled 3 to 4 times because it is caused by the acute meibomitis is caused by the staphylococcal infection. And systemic tetracyclines for 6 to 12 weeks remain the mainstay of treatment of posterior blepharitis. Okay, in the chronic case, we have to give the systemic tetracyclines also for 6 to 12 weeks. Then erythromycin may be used where tetracyclines are contraindicated. Then the last type of blepharitis is the parasitic blepharitis. The blepharitis acrica refers to a chronic blepharitis associated with Demodex folliculorum infection and Theriasis palpebrum, to that due to crab louse, very rarely to the head louse. In addition to the features of chronic blepharitis, it is characterized by the presence of nits at the lid margin and at the roots of the eyelashes. And the treatment of the parasitic blepharitis consists of the mechanical removal of the nits with forceps followed by the rubbing of antibiotic ointment on the lid margins and delousing of the patient, other family members, clothing and bedding. So, like other parasitic infection, we should have these hygienic measures. We should delouse the patient and the family members also. We should clean the clothes and bedding also. So mainly the main cause is the Theriasis palpebrum. Now this session completes here. Thank you so much. This session is powered by digital version 2.0 Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. I hope you are satisfied with my digital session. If you have any query, please mention in the comment box. I will resolve it. Thank you so much.
Function of spreading the tear film over the cornea and conjunctiva, and also help in drainage of tears by lacrimal pump system. Then the parts of eyelid. Eyelid is divided by horizontal furrow or sulcus into an orbit and tarsal part. So here's an image of the eyelid where you can see the upper palpebral furrow, which have divided the eyelid into two parts, the orbital portion and the tarsal portion. And just like that, there's a lower palpebral furrow. Then the position of lids. When the eye is open, the upper lid covers about 1/6 of the cornea, and the lower lid just touches the limbus. Then canthi. What is canthi? The two lids meet each other at medial and lateral angles, which are known as the outer canthi and the inner canthi. The medial canthus is about 2 millimeter higher than the lateral canthus. Then what is the palpebral aperture? It is the elliptical space between the upper and the lower lid. When the eyes are open, it measures about 10 to 11 millimeter vertically in the center and about 28 to 30 millimeter horizontally. Then we comes to the lid margin. It is about 2 millimeter broad and is divided into two parts by the punctum. The medial lacrimal portion is rounded and it is devoid of lashes or glands. The lateral is called the ciliary portion and it consists of a rounded anterior border, a sharp posterior border, and an intermarginal strip between the two borders. Two borders means the anterior border and posterior border. In between the two borders, there is an intermarginal strip. And there is a gray line which marks the junction of skin and conjunctiva. It divides the intermarginal strip into an anterior strip bearing 2 to 3 rows of lashes and a posterior strip on which openings of meibomian glands are arranged in a row. The splitting of the eyelids when required in operations is done at the level of the gray line. So you understood what is gray line? Then next is the structure. Each eyelid is consists of various layers. So we study these layers from anterior to posterior. The first structure in the eyelid is the skin. The skin of eyelid is elastic, having a fine texture, and is the thinnest in the body. Then next layer below the skin in the eyelid is the subcutaneous areolar tissue. This subcutaneous areolar tissue is very loose and contains no fat. It is thus readily distended by edema or blood. Then the next structure we'll discuss. Here's an image in which they have shown the structure of upper eyelid. In the lower side, there is the opening of meibomian gland, and at the root of hair follicle there is Zee's gland, and there is sweat gland, marginal arcade, meibomian gland in the tarsal plate, gland of Wolfram, peripheral arcade, Mueller's muscle, levator, gland of Cross, fat, septum orbicularis, orbicularis oculi muscle. Then the third layer in the eyelid is the layer of striated muscle. It consists of orbicularis muscle, which forms an oval sheet across the eyelids. It comprises three portions: the orbital portion, the palpebral portion, and the lacrimal portion. It closes the eyelids and is supplied by zygomatic branch of the facial nerve. Therefore, in the paralysis of facial nerve, there occurs lagophthalmos, which may be complicated by exposure keratitis. What is lagophthalmos? It is the inability to close the eyelids, and thus in the eyelid there is a striated muscle present called the orbicularis oculi, which is supplied by the facial nerve branch. So in case of facial paralysis, then patient suffer from the lagophthalmos. Patient is not able to close the eyelids, and when he is not able to close the eyelids due to exposure, there will be the inflammation of cornea. In addition, the upper lid also contains the levator palpebrae superioris muscle. It is called the LPS muscle. It arises from the apex of the orbit and is inserted by three parts on the skin of lid, anterior surface of the tarsal plate, and conjunctiva of superior fornix. It raises the upper lid and it is supplied by a branch of oculomotor nerve. Then the fourth layer in the eyelid is the submuscular areolar tissue. It is a layer of loose connective tissue, and the nerves and vessels, these lie in this layer. Therefore, to anesthetize lids, injection is given in this plane of submuscular areolar tissue, which is supplied by the nerves. It is anesthetized by the injection. Then the next layer in the eyelid is fibrous layer. It is the framework of the lids and consists of two parts: the central tarsal part and the peripheral septum orbital. I will show that in the image. The tarsal plate. These are two plates of dense connective tissue, one for each lid. Means in each lid we have a plate of connective tissue which gives shape and firmness to the lids. This is a function of tarsal plate. It is present to shape and provide firmness to the lids. The upper and lower tarsal plate join with each other at medial and lateral canthus. These two plates will join at the two canthi and are attached to the orbital margins through medial and lateral palpebral ligaments. In the substance of the lateral plates lie the meibomian glands in the parallel rows. Therefore, the meibomian glands are called the tarsal glands because they are present in the tarsal plates. Then in this image they have shown the tarsal plate and the septum orbital. Okay, the inferior tarsus, superior tarsus, and on the both sides they have shown the lateral palpebral ligament and the medial palpebral ligament. So next part is the septum orbital, which is also called the palpebral fascia. It is a thin membrane of connective tissue attached centrally to the tarsal plates and peripherally to the periosteum of the orbital margin. It is perforated by nerves, vessels, and a muscle called the levator palpebrae superioris, which enter the lids from the orbit. Then comes the sixth layer. The sixth layer of non-striated muscle fibers. It consists of the palpebral muscle of Mueller, which lies deep to the septum orbital in both the lids. In the upper lid, it arises from the fibers of LPS muscle, and in the lower lid from prolongation of the inferior rectus muscle, and is inserted on the peripheral margins of the tarsal plate, and it is supplied by the sympathetic fibers. Then the last layer of the eyelid is the conjunctiva. The part which lines the lids is called the palpebral conjunctiva, and it consists of three parts as we have discussed in the conjunctiva: marginal, tarsal, and orbital. So here completes the layers of the eyelids. So here our session completes with this slide. This session is powered by digital version 2.0 Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. I hope you are satisfied with my digital session. If you have any query, please mention in the comment box. I will resolve it. Thank you so